I've had an idea for a reading vlog topic for a while now, but I never went through with it because I had to do some research to prepare for the reading vlog. And by some research, I mean I had to just Google the synopsi of the books I wanted to read. And for some reason, I kept putting that off, even though that's basically what I do. I tell you about books, and for some reason, I didn't want to research about books. But as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be reading a couple of Erin Morgenstern's favorite novels. If you do not know who Erin Morgenstern is, she is the author of The Starless Sea and The Night Circus, which I have on my shelf, but it's under a stack of books and I'm too lazy to get it, so here's a digital copy. Erin Morgenstern is really cool because on her website she has a section called Books I Love, which I think more authors should do. Every author should just have a section on their website where they share their favorite novels in case people like me want to go onto their website and find out what are some of their favorite books that could have influenced their writing or just books that left a big impression on them. So don't even ask me how I know Erin Morgenstern has a Books I Love page on her website. I'm pretty sure I was talking to my friend Jessica one day. We were talking about Erin Morgenstern. I went onto her website. I was looking around there and I found a page on her website that said Books I Love. So she has a lot of titles on that page. I'm going to read you a couple of them to give you an idea on the books that she enjoys. One is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, The Vanishing Act by Meet Jacobson, The Shadow of the Wind, Taste, and The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. There are a ton of other titles on her website that I went through. I looked up every single synopsis of all the books on her list, crossed out the ones that I already read like Station 11, The Shadow of the Wind, The Haunting of Hill House, and I looked up the ones that I haven't read before or haven't even heard of before. So I am going to try and read 3 of Erin Morgenstern's favorite novels, and I'm not going to tell you my full list of the books that I'm reading because we need to have some intrigue here. We need to keep you gripped in this reading vlog. But I'm going to tell you about my first read. I did a poll on Twitter to have people pick a number between 1 through 3 because I have 3 books picked out for this reading vlog and I didn't want to tell them the title because that would influence their decisions. So I just wanted them to pick a number between 1 and 3. So everyone picked 2, which I thought was weird. Because, I don't know, when I pick out numbers, I always pick out an odd number. Maybe that's just like my preference. But I would have picked 3. I'm not judging the people who picked 2, but I'm squinting. So number 2 on my list of the 3 books that I'm hoping to read that Erin Morgenstern claims is her favorite books of all time is Einstein's Dreams by Alan Lightman. Einstein's Dreams I am already 40% through. It's a very quick read and it says it's a modern classic of a fictional collage of stories dreamed up by Albert Einstein in 1905 when he worked in a patent office in Switzerland. In one story it says that time is circular, so people are fated to repeat their actions over and over again. Another one, time stands still. And in another story, time is trapped in a bell jar. So every single story in the short story collection deals with a different concept of time, whether it be circular or whether it be stagnant. And it's pretty interesting so far because I think that time as a concept is a very interesting thing to read about, especially from the fictionalized perspective of Albert Einstein, who dealt a lot with time and I think like metaphysics. I have no idea. Don't come for me, science people. I'm not a scientist. But I'm very excited to read this because it's a very quick read and I'm reading all of these books on my Kindle because I'm getting all of them from my library. Because thankfully my library has all these copies. So I am 40% through Einstein's Dreams already because like I said, it's a short story collection. It's very easy to go through and I'm hoping to finish it today because it tells me that I have an hour left in the book. So if I am not a distracted person like I usually am, I can maybe sit down and read this in an hour. And we can get 1 book done with this reading vlog. So I finished Einstein's Dreams, and while I found a lot of passages that I thought were really fascinating in terms of the fact that this is a short story collection and each short story explores a different version of time, I found it to be a very meandering, very introspective type of read that normally I would jive with, but I just felt like it was kind of repetitive in the way that we explored a different version of time, a different hypothesis, I guess, of what time could be like, and it's always somewhat tragic and sad because the way our time moves is something that we're very used to, and if we were to look at time where it moves backwards or time if it's very stagnant, it can be sad because the way that people will live life will be drastically different. So while I did enjoy those explorations into different versions of time and how our reality would be different, I just felt like it was a very slow moving novel. It felt very sluggish. In the beginning, I was interested because it was different scenarios each time, but after like the 5th scenario, I'm like, okay, let's wrap it up. And this short story collection has like 30 different scenarios of different versions of time. I don't know, it felt kind of repetitive towards the end, and I didn't find myself gripped by it. That's like a personal preference for me because I'm not the biggest fan of short story collections. I feel like for short story collections, I'm a big fan of like 10% of it, and the other 90% I'm like very like meh about it. It doesn't impact me, and I just don't seem to jive that well with short stories. But I am glad I read it because I did like how it explored so many different scenarios of what time could be if it were to flow differently than our reality. I thought that was really cool. So if you're interested in Einstein, if you're interested in like theory of time and how it can change and look different in different scenarios, then this will be the book for you. But the next book that I'm going to read is Case Histories. According to Goodreads, it is called the best mystery of the decade, which I will be the judge of that. And it says it follows a private investigator named Jackson Brody who follows 3 seemingly unconnected cases. One follows a little girl who goes missing at night. The second case is about a beautiful young office worker who falls victim to a maniac's apparent random attack. The third case is a new mother finds herself trapped in the hell of her own making until a fit of rage creates a grisly, bloody escape. So it says 30 years after the first incident, as private investigator Jackson Brody begins investigating all 3 cases, startling connections and discoveries emerge. So I'm very excited to read this one because I want to get more into mysteries. I don't read them that often, but I'm trying to find ones that jive with me, and I'm excited to read this because I do love a good story where they're like seemingly unconnected storylines and then they all kind of weave together over time. I think that's really interesting, and it's very cool on the author's part to create such an intricate storyline. But I am definitely going to start Case Histories and see where I get from there and hopefully finish it tomorrow. So we'll see if I can do that. I don't know, I'm not the fastest reader. I was just on my computer, like logging in all my books onto Goodreads, and Case Histories is not a short book at all. It's 400 pages, and I just told you that I hope I can finish it tomorrow. This is going to be a longer vlog than I actually thought, but nonetheless, I'm still going to read it because I'm excited by the premise and it sounds really cool. I started Case Histories, and on page 2, I realized that the main character's name is Olivia. While my name is very popular in terms of like people naming their babies Olivia now, I've really never read books with a protagonist named Olivia. I think I've only read 2 out of like all the books that I've read, so this is going to be weird to like read about a character because I'm always gonna picture myself as the character. Whenever I read a book, I never picture myself as the main character, but like, if she has my name, am I the main character? And is this also the character who's gonna go missing? so I have an update for you, and it is that I DNF'd Case Histories. I was only on chapter 1 when I decided to do this, but what really made me want to DNF this book was the fact that 1, it was incredibly slow and very hard to get into, and 2, I did not enjoy the amount of times that this author used derogatory terms against Romani people. It was just so rife in the text that I just could not ignore it. It was just constantly using slurs against Romani people and calling them dirty, and it's just something that I was not okay with, so I would not recommend this book to anyone. So that is why I DNF'd, because if chapter 1 alone is rife with so many slurs against a marginalized group of people, I'm just not about it, and I don't feel the need to spend my time reading something like that. Life is too short to read books that you don't enjoy. Now I am on to book 3, which is The Enchanted by Renee Denfeld. I am already 47% through this book because I am just flying through it. I am listening to it both on audiobook and on ebook, so sometimes I will listen to the audiobook while I read alongside it, or other times I will just read the ebook by itself. Right now I'm just reading the ebook by itself. This novel is about a prisoner who is in jail, and the only way that he's able to escape mentally is by reading books and falling into their world for a little while. The main character does not communicate, so the only way that we are able to understand his feelings is through his internal monologue, which is heavily relied on in this book. But while we also follow that character, we also follow a woman who is representing a man on death row. She is investigating his case and his life to kind of get a grasp onto why he committed the crimes that he committed, in hopes of lessening his sentence from capital punishment to just life in prison. So we follow this prisoner who is escaping through the novels that he reads, but we also follow this woman as she is getting a better understanding of this one prisoner that is sentenced to be killed in a couple of months. While this does discuss the love for books, which is very Erin Morgenstern-esque, and I can definitely see how she would love this novel because it's very much similar to her books in the way that they're so atmospheric and vividly written, I really enjoy The Enchanted because not only does it talk about the novels that this prisoner loves and this woman investigating a case, but it also talks about the darker aspects of being in a jail and the harrowing actions that these prisoners have to witness while they are stuck in this building. So now I'm going to drink my iced coffee and read more of The Enchanted because it is just so good and I cannot get enough of it. But I am going to read on my front porch. I tried to film this clip on my front porch, but it is so echoey, so I moved to my room to film this clip, but I am going to be reading on my front porch because I need that sweet vitamin D to help me feel a little bit better because the winter has been rough, my friends. Very rough.
She dropped on the floor the duffel bag that contained her dancing clothes and ridiculous plastic wedge high heels. He said goodnight, and he tried not to think much.
So I am 73% through The Enchanted, and once again, I am still loving it. I'm really enjoying the atmospheric writing. I enjoy learning more about these characters and their backstories and how they got to this certain moment in time. And I just love the main character and how connected he is to books. It really reminds me of the way that The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern is all about the love for books, and I just love reading about that. I can never get old to me because it's just such a magical experience to see a character get lost in a story and rely on stories so much for their happiness. So I only have one chapter left in this book, and I think I'm going to finish it tomorrow because I want a break. So I am definitely going to finish the book tomorrow, but now I'm going to journal because I'm trying to get back into the habit of journaling. I really want to journal consistently like I did before. I used to journal all the time, and now I kind of fell out of it in 2020 because I was like, what do I have to update? I do the same thing every single day. There's nothing to update. While I don't have enough to update as consistently as I would in like 2018 or 2019, I do want to get back into journaling because I think it's important. I was talking about this with my friend Courtney. I think it's important to talk to yourself and kind of let your feelings out and just have a conversation with yourself. So that's what I've been trying to do in my journal. So I am going to start my March journal spread. Basically, I just create a little page for March where I track my movies that I see every month, and I have a little title page for each month because I like to separate into my journal by months. So that's what I'm going to do because I want to let my creativity out a little bit, because my journal this year has been pretty plain. It's been pretty straightforward. I've just been writing in it. I haven't been putting stickers or washi tape as I usually do in previous years. So I want to also get back into that because that sparked so much joy for me, like doing collages and just like doodling in my journal and like creating little spreads. It was so satisfying to do, and I need to get back into that, so that's what I'm going to do. And then I will see you all tomorrow, and I will be finishing The Enchanted, and I'll let you know all my thoughts about it. While I am getting my journaling supplies together, let me tell you a little bit about this video sponsor, which is Skillshare. You all know how much I love Skillshare. They're an online learning community full of courses on an array of topics like photography, film, creative writing, productivity, and so much more for those creative minds who are looking to develop some skills or try something completely new. There are so many classes that you can take on Skillshare that can relate to your hobbies or interests. One class that I have been taking is Writing for Self-Discovery, 6 journaling prompts for gratitude and growth, because I really wanted to get back into journaling as a form of self-care and a chance to chat with myself on paper. This course offers different writing prompts to cultivate your journaling habit and is a great way to get into journaling or start this new hobby to write down your thoughts and let your creativity run free. It offers resources to get into the habit and has class projects for you to share your work with others who also take the course. If you're interested in joining Skillshare to try new skills and join a creative community, the first 1,000 of you to click the link in my description will get 2 free months of Skillshare Premium to try out for yourself. New classes are always being added to their site, and there's always something new to learn and try out. So if you want to continue your membership, it will be less than $10 a month. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring me yet again. And now back to the reading vlog. I did it, friends. I finished The Enchanted. And while I did enjoy the beginning of the novel and I thought it was so well written, it was so atmospheric, I was so interested in all these different characters within this one prison, I feel like the latter part of the story really fell flat for me, but I didn't feel connected to the characters. I didn't feel like we knew enough about their motivations, about their fears and their drives and their past, enough to form a connection with them. I always felt like we were a little bit distanced from them, and that's what kept me from being totally engaged with the story, which did lag towards the end, and I felt like I was really slugging through it. So while I did enjoy the atmospheric writing, I feel like the story and the characters fell somewhat flat for me because I didn't feel overly connected to it, and I didn't feel like it left a lasting impression on me. So that is my third and final book that I am going to read off of Erin Morgenstern's favorite books of all time list on her website. Let me know if you have read any of these books and what you think about them, or if you're interested in any of these books. Let me know if you know of another author who has a favorite book list, because I would love to check them out to maybe do another reading vlog like this to get a closer glimpse into the interest and the taste that these authors that I admire have, because I feel like I got a good understanding as to what type of stories that Erin Morgenstern likes. She likes mysteries, she likes very introspective reads, she loves atmospheric and vivid writing, very much similar to her own writing, and I feel like this helped me get a better understanding of what she likes in the novels that she reads. And I hope you enjoyed this type of reading vlog. I was very excited to do this, and I can't believe I kept putting this off for months upon months, but I'm glad I finally did it, and I got to try out books that I never would have heard of beforehand if I had not checked out Erin Morgenstern's favorite books list. And while I did not find new favorites from this experiment, I'm really glad that I did it nonetheless, because it really expanded my horizons in terms of being a reader and just kind of going forth and reading books that I have never heard of before and other friends have not read before on Goodreads. So I was happy I was able to do this, and I definitely want to do more reading challenges in the future. So if you have any ideas of what reading vlogs you would like to see from me, please let me know down below. And if you have made it this far in the video, comment down a book emoji so we can see who stays for the longest. If you have not followed me on Instagram, be sure to do that so you can see what I'm currently reading, because I always update that there on my stories. And if you have not subscribed so already, be sure to do so to join my little community. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye!